G'day, this is Captain Noob, and this is the AKM Project 2.0. So, yeah, last time I looked at the AKM project, it was on the 1.5 version, and unfortunately, it's been a while since I've actually used that, so I probably couldn't tell many of the differences that are in this mod, but that's fine. Basically, the overview of this is it adds a bunch of Kalashnikov rifles in the way of customization. And what I mean by that is you can make this thing a AKM, like it is now, if you have that barrel there. But if you have the AK-74U barrel, yeah, it's more like an AK-74U, the carbine. And you've also got an RPK barrel, which is kind of good. It's like a long LMG thing. Very, very nice indeed. Anyways, for the receivers, you basically got the same things as you have the standard assault rifle in the game. So we'll chuck that up to powerful auto. And for the barrels, we want to make ourselves a nice RPK to start off with. So you can either have a plastic one or a wooden one. Although the wooden one gives you a little bit more range, the plastic one has no benefits with weight, which I believe it should do because plastic is a little bit lighter than wood last time I checked, but we'll definitely chuck on the wood one. We get a tiny little bit more range out of that, and it makes it look more like a classic AK, or RPK, sorry. And for the stocks, we'll follow it up with a nice little RPK stock of the wooden variety that actually adds the wounding effect onto that, as you can tell there, which is going to be very useful. Now for the magazines, the RPK is mostly seen with that big old banana steel magazine at 40 rounds, but if you want to pump this up a little bit more, you can actually add it to 45 rounds using the RPK 74 things. Maybe if you made this thing plastic, it'll look a little bit better with that. We'll go for that standard one there, why the hell not. Now for the sights, we've got the irons, no glowies, which is unfortunate. Glowies would actually look kind of good because you get, because the sights on the AKs are kind of good. I kind of like looking through those in the video games that this weapon has been in, but you get a whole bunch of reflex sights, which is nice. Most of this stuff is on the Russian sort of thing, so you won't find any eerie text, which is unfortunate. We'll quickly chuck on the basket one there that looks slightly Western, I suppose. Anyways, for the muzzle, we can have, this is another bit where you can actually change the look of the weapon. So if you were going for an AK-74, you want to put that thing on. But for this one, we want to put a suppressor on that. The big old PBS suppressor doesn't look too bad on the Russian rifles. I remember that one being in Battlefield 4 actually. Very good. Now for the rail attachment, you can chuck on a laser sight if you feel like it, and a flashlight and laser sight at the same time, so why not be super tactical and do that? This thing is looking more tricked out by the second, and if the damage isn't quite doing it for you, you can easily bump it up like that. Doing 150 damage now, which should be okay depending on our fire rate, but we'll keep it as it is for now. And to match everything, we'll go ahead and chuck on the wooden grip there, and that'll give us control over the sniper optical sight plus 15%. That's not a sniper sight, but I imagine it's the same sort of effect as the marksman stocks usually have. Maybe that's a little bit more steady as you aim it. As you can tell with the higher tier ones, you get even more of a bonus, but this one's more form over function. And of course, a legendary effect exists on this if you feel like it's not enough. We've already got the wounding on this, although it's not showing it, so we'll get into Gunner's Plaza, or outside of Gunner's Plaza. We'll bring a few more AKs because, I want to test out a few. If you're not sure where to find this thing in the game, just go to your chemistry station and look for weapons AKM project. Everything should be there, including the bullets and the weapon in and of itself. Just make sure you've got an assault rifle and various bits of things to put in it. Righto, here we are outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza, what I've been testing weapons on in the past couple of days, and it's been quite a challenge to kill all these gunners because there's a whole lot of them. So luckily we have an LMG on us to keep out spitting these bullets, and you know what, we should be okay as long as we can just keep nailing these sneak attack criticals. As you can tell, they're getting about 400 or so damage, if I'm rounding that up quite a bit, against these gunners with sneak attack criticals, which is pretty good. And we're getting a decent stagger rate on these guys too, and obviously you can see the wounding effect take hold there as we shoot the people, which obviously isn't doing a whole lot of damage. Now I want to get rid of this glowing blood bug, because as soon as they're aggroed, they're not taking the sneak attack criticals anymore, and bugs are incapable of sneaking, you see. So we want to keep these guys as I guess unknowing as possible. So we're getting rushed on now, so we're just going to back off a little bit, hopefully find ourselves some visual cover as well as actual bullet cover. There we go. Now we're hiding in the bushes. I'm not actually sure whether... okay, they're aggroed. I think it's going to be a stupid blood bug. Yes, it was. They've just killed it. And now they're all shooting at me again, so now to tactically back off because I want to keep these sneak attack crits rolling, and as soon as they're all firing on us, we're pretty much dead. We get into nerd rage very quickly when it comes to lots of gunners shooting us with high-powered rifles, and it looks like they're all gathering over there. We'll just get some of their attention over this way, and yes, as you can tell, this thing has quite a bit of recoil onto it, and my lazy Fallout 4 aim isn't helping me with controlling this, so we'll quickly just keep on backing off there, doing a little bit of hip fire to make sure we get some sort of hits there whilst we're backing off. And now there are usually people down here, so we'll quickly take them out. And now we've got a pretty nice little bit of straight ground here, which I can shoot through. And what have we got here? I'm just going to suppress that bush over there. I got 1 kill out of that, I think, so not a total waste. And the hip fire on this thing isn't too bad, actually. As you can tell, we've got that laser sight going, which maybe or may not be helping us out a little bit with the hip fire. But as you can tell, we don't really have to aim this thing all the time, which is rather useful. Also, I'm still yet to see any of the kills happen due to damage over time here, so I think wounding is more or less useless on this weapon. Also, actually, we might get a kill on... Yes, we did. We actually got a kill with wounding effect there. Also, that guy flew off that way for some reason. Okay, I think that's the most of them shaken off us at this point. Alright, so I think that is most of them dead as well. We'll just quickly sneak around to wherever this guy is. Looks like he didn't catch up with all of his team, and we got shot by something, so that means these gunners must be privy to where I am. Just about spotted me. That's just a brigadier. He's quite tough and tanky, but we basically, like, pretty much 3-shotted him with those 3 sneak attack crits, so got to keep them rolling, and that'll be good. Alright, we've got one behind the bush there. We're using big old 7.62 rounds, or the Russian versions of those, which may or may be a little bit bigger in some places. But we can probably penetrate through that tree if he was still hiding behind it. And now we're in danger, so we'll switch on our flashlight, why not? And there you go, it's a nice little attachment to have on the front of your gun. A little bit better than the Pip-Boy, but it does leave you a little bit with the tunnel vision in the darkness, because obviously you're not getting that 360-degree light. So if you're in third person, you've got quite a bit of blind spot on you, but it is a nice little attachment to have on your weapon. It feels nice and realistic to have a flashlight on there in the first place when it comes down to night combat like this. So we've pretty much gone through all of our bullets at this point. I mean, a good amount of them, not all of them, but I definitely had more than just over 400 when I started shooting these guys. So yeah, this thing, it spits out bullets fast and doesn't do the best damage. I've been spoiled in the damage variety. Okay, I'm gonna leave those guys. Yeah, I've been spoiled by the damage variety with weapons coming from all of those Black Ops 3 weapons. They're a little bit up there. The modders know there to balance weapons properly for the late game, otherwise you just get this tanky nonsense where they can take all of these damn bullets. And we'll just peek around this corner and finish you off with a little bit of spraying automatic fire. Are we hitting all of those shots? Don't feel like I am. Feel like I should be hitting them harder and faster and they should be dying. Maybe this thing's bullets just dematerialize out of midair like some other weapon mods do sometimes. Alright, so we've got another one there. We'll just quickly get her in VATS. I think it's a her, it might be him. I hope I haven't misgendered him, because that would be very, very triggering. Okay, let's wait for him to come up a little bit. We've got some AP back, might as well just use a crit here. Wow, he didn't die. He is now. There we go. See, I saw the hair and I thought, okay, that has to be a woman, but no, it's just a filthy man bun. Yuck. Alright, so looks like we've only got one left. We'll give him a quick end, and then we can move on to the inside of Gunner's Plaza, where we'll grab a different weapon. Goodbye, Mr. Dude. Okay, so that's like 600 rounds I've gone through killing all of those gunners. That barrel must be really, really hot. Anyways, we'll get into Gunner's Plaza and see what this thing can do in short barrel form. Okay, here we are in Gunner's Plaza with an AK-74U, a very short barrel AK, more suited to the close quarters combat of Gunner's Plaza. Ella has had a little bit of a makeover there. A couple of people were like, man, she ugly, so you know what, I switched up her looks in the looks menu thing. Hopefully her looks have improved. Anyways, back onto killing these gunners. Just like the RPK, we're gonna want to try and keep nailing the sneak attack criticals, because it is so damn satisfying to use a silenced little AK-74U. The reload animations are about the same, but when you're holding the weapon, it's a little bit different. That was only a basic gunner, thankfully, so he went down quickly. And we'll drop those little turrets quickly. Now that I've killed all of the gunners outside, inside Gunners Plaza seems much more manageable than it usually did, or at least it usually did before I went and killed all those gunners outside. That's just a whole clusterfuck of gunners. I'm wondering whether I should keep that around, because it's a little bit too much, I think. You'll never be engaging that many gunners in the base game, so that is why I usually test at Gunners Plaza, simply because it's usually balanced for what you'd see out of things. Even if you aren't playing on very hard, you still get a decent idea of what this weapon can do against some tougher dudes. And gunners aren't actually the toughest dudes anyway. You could fight super mutants, that's why I have been fighting them sometimes. But yes, to get a general idea over all difficulties, I've selected Gunners Plaza. Plus, it's got a decent length to it, so you actually get a chance to get to know the gun a little bit better. And you can hear my lovely voice in all of the great commentary that I do. So looking through this reflex sight is a little bit better than the last one. I'm not sure what was with the last one there, but the reticule wasn't as good. This one I feel a little bit more precise, although the shooting animation when you're firing this does make the sights bounce around a little bit. And it makes it a little bit more unpredictable to where you're shooting. Mainly the weapons in Fallout 4 in the vanilla game, I don't think that little reticule moves around as much. Or if it does, maybe I've just gotten used to it over the years, but yes. Yeah, it seems a little bit more difficult to aim there. We've only got 4 mags left at this point, so the next weapon I'm going to use will be firing the 5.56s, which actually don't do any more or less damage than the 7.62, but that's, yeah, or the Russian equivalents of those. You all know what I mean. But yes, that's a little bit interesting. I think it's a little bit obvious for me to say this, but I'd think that the bigger bullets would do more damage, but no. By the way you change calibers on this weapon is sometimes just got to do with mag, so it's a little bit unclear. Usually there's just a caliber conversion into that. Also, you had a nocturnal minigun. If I reloaded the quick save or the auto save when I got in here, I might be able to farm me an explosive minigun, but I don't need to do that because I have mods at my disposal. So there you go, that was the AKM project, specifically the AK-74U in the confines of Gunners Plaza there. Did pretty well, didn't get to show it off in VATS, but I would probably put money on this thing being a little bit better in VATS than the RPK. Okay, we'll move on to Super Mutant territory and grab ourselves more of a sniping weapon. Wow, I totally missed this guy down here. Come back here. Wow, he's a big boy, isn't he? Big fat gunner. He was doing very well until I killed him. Generally, if you see fat people in Fallout, you know that they're doing pretty well. And I know I said sniper, this is not actually a sniper weapon, it's just an AK-74 with a scope on it, but we're going to use it as a sniper because there's no such thing as an SVD in this AKM mod, which is understandable. Whilst that has the same sort of AK designs as these types of weapons, it's not actually off the same sort of thing. It's a little bit different. I think the shape of it is a little bit thicker because it's a big old sniper thing, so yeah, that makes sense about that. Anyways, so we're doing pretty well against these super mutants, and also by sniper I do mean the ability to knock people down. Weapons on a semi-automatic platform with Sniper 2 perk and also a scope attached to it will give you a chance to knock down enemies per hit. I'm not sure on the percentages, but I'd imagine it's got something to do maybe around 15%. I'll have to look into the creation kit and figure it out, or maybe some observant viewer will be able to see that what it is, or maybe I'll put it in the description or forget altogether. You just never know with Captain Noob. I'm just all over the place, just like the minigun and all of its terrible bullets and terrible accuracy and terrible damage in general. Also, what was that doggo doing? Okay, we're back in caution somehow. So we've run this suppressed all friggin' day because why not? This is obviously the best way you can run weapons. There's no questions about it. Even though you sometimes lose out range and you sometimes get less damage over at range, yeah, there's no reason not to go stealthy because you can just pull off the... See, these guys have no idea where I am, and since they're in caution, well, that's an extra 4.4 times damage just for bloody sitting here crouching. Pressing the C button. Press the C button equals kills. That's a pretty simple equation, children. Remember this now. Okay, so no use in scoping in on this bad boy, he's that close anyway, so we'll just hip fire him. Again, the hip fire holding up pretty well there, and we're in danger now, no use on having this sniper out, so for one last time we'll bring out our big old RPK and just use a mag on these guys. Why the hell not? This one's usually a low level. Yep, he's only a brute, so we can basically 3-shot him. But super mutant warlords are going to give us a little bit more trouble. So to that end, we'll just go ahead and spray him at close range there. Although these guys are super tanky, at a certain level you become a tanky arsehole too. So it's all round tankiness at Fallout 4. And you know what, I think that is about it for the AKM Project 2.0. So if you'd like to see this thing in your game, be sure to check out the description and make sure you bring your sneaky proxies with you, because you don't want the cops to find you after you've downloaded something that was demanded to be paid for on the internet. I'm only kidding, but what I do mean about that is all of these mods I've found, they're basically from the Fallout 4 fan club thing, which actually demands you to pay the modders or admins money to actually access some of their mods. So you know what, I've had enough of the creation club tier stuff, so I just went on to r/mod piracy. They took me over to the Discord and we got stuff there. The only problem with that is I now have Russian spies trying to kill me for downloading their mods without paying. So if you don't want Russian spies to kill you, you actually have to pay up. But if if you don't really care about that, yeah, I'll try to link the r/mod piracy down there. And yeah, don't pirate actual games though. Only pirate mods that they demand you to pay for. All right, Captain Noob doesn't support piracy, alright? Let's make that very clear. Thank you for watching, guys.